Governor Bill Walker was born in Fairbanks and raised in Delta Junction in Valdez. His parents, Ed and Frances Walker, were Alaskan pioneers. As a family, the Walkers celebrated Alaska statehood in 1959, survived the 1964 earthquake, and worked together in the family construction and hotel businesses. Prior to taking office, Governor Walker and his wife Donna owned a law firm that focused on municipal and oil and gas law. Married since 1977, the Walkers have 4 children and 4 grandchildren. Governor Walker is an avid downhill skier, enjoys fishing, boating, snow machining, campfires with the family at the lake, and taking the grandkids ice skating. Please welcome Governor Bill Walker.
Well, what an honor it is to tell my story. To set this story up, I have to talk a little bit about growing up in Valdez, the importance of basketball to a kid who wanted to get out of town. You did not get out of town unless you made the team. So you had to be on the team to get out of town. So it also involves Marty Rutherford. I don't know if anybody here knows Marty Rutherford, but she's the acting commissioner of the Department of Natural Resources. So life goes on in Valdez. There's no radio, there's no TV, there's no bowling alley, there's no theater, you've got basketball, that's all you got. So we won when I was a senior, we won a regional tournament, which meant that if we won the regional tournament, the playoff tournament was in Juneau. We had to travel to Juneau to play in the championship tournament. So we won the regionals between Kenai. We came back to Valdez, excited about that. We went to the school board and said, we need some money to go on this trip. They said, no, we don't have any money. Go to the city council. So we went to the city council meeting. You know, I guess now they like celebrate when you win a tournament, and then in the 60s they didn't. We went in and we said, we need $700 to be able to fly to Juneau to play in the tournament. And I'll never forget this. He said, well, you should have thought of that before you won the regional tournament. Who does that anymore? But anyway, I remember that so well. So Marty and Marty was the head cheerleader. I was on the basketball team. So we went out and raised money. We got enough money to go to Juneau to play in the tournament. Now, it was just us and Juneau. We lost the tournament. Now, I don't actually know why I told that whole part of the story, because if you don't tell the story, you usually lost. But anyway, that was just how important basketball was to us. So we graduated from high school. Off we go to college. We come back after our first semester. And I tell you, there's no one smarter than a college student with one semester, halfway through. It just didn't get any better. So Marty and I came back to Valdez, and we got there before anybody else, of any of our group that are our classmates. And there was a regional tournament in Delta Junction, it must have been like December 20th or so. So I said, hey Marty, let's go to that tournament. It kind of like relive the old times, you know, as far as going up to Delta. And Delta, for those who know, is 256 miles north of Valdez. It was about 40 below in Delta, so we had to figure out how to borrow somebody's car. You know, in those days, I mean, it wasn't a matter of a 2-car family. It was a big deal. It was a 1-car family, much less a 2-car. So getting a car was a little challenging. I asked my folks if I could borrow the only car they had, and they said, no, that won't be happening. She asked the same thing of her dad, and her dad said, John Kelsey. I don't know who John Kelsey is, but great guy. He said, no, but I'll drive you up there. I said, oh, no, not him. No, Marty, we're going to have your dad drive us to Delta. I'm going to do that. So we finally found a friend of ours whose folks would let him use the car. So his car is the family station wagon, pretty old. His name was Willie Schmidt. He said, oh, we can all drive up there. So we did. Willie Schmidt, Marty Rutherford, and myself. And as we're going along in this car, it was a station wagon. It was an early vintage station wagon. Things started not working so well as we got into the colder weather. You get past Glen Allen, you know, Paxton, you get up, it's a little bit colder. So we got to Delta, and we seemed to be losing parts of the transmission on the way. So we got to Delta, we went to the game, it was just great. You know, it was like the old times, and a lot of the people were there. We came out and started up the car, and it only had 1 gear left, and it was reverse. So we backed over to where we were staying, some friend's house, and Marty said, well, I need to call my dad, he'll come get us. I said, no, Marty, don't call your dad. I don't want to listen to I told you so for 256 miles from your dad. So I said, here's the plan. We're driving, we're going to go to Valdez tomorrow. We're going to drive. So the next morning, or about mid-morning, when it finally became daylight in Delta, it was 45 below. We backed out of Delta, heading down the Bridgeton Highway. And you could stick your head out the window for about 10 minutes and backing up. And then so we would rotate. Each of us would rotate around, and I thought, I think we're going to do this. We got some very strange looks from a lot of drivers. How are these guys doing? We can do this, Marty. We can do it. You know, I always like to challenge, and I sure have one now, but I always like to challenge. And so we make it about halfway to Paxson, and all of a sudden we lost that all important gear first. Man, now what are we going to do? And we'd never hitchhiked before. When you go up in Valdez, you just don't ever hitchhike. And so we got out. It was the middle of the day, bright daylight, and so we figured the next car that came by would stop. And so along came a car and just went right past us. I said, well, one of us better get out. I said, Marty, you get out. You get out. She's the only girl. They'll stop for a girl. There's no problem. Next car came by, went right past us. Like, what the heck is this? And so then we started hitchhiking and trying to get a ride to Paxson. And I'll never forget this. This car went by, and now I'm getting out in the traffic. And I figured maybe there's more people there, maybe they'll stop. So I get out there, and the car went by, and Marty was so livid. She was so angry. I'll never forget what she said. She just turned and screamed. I won't say exactly what she said. I'll paraphrase what she said. She just was standing in the middle of that road and just screamed at it. She said, hey, you better stop. We might be somebody someday. I looked at her. I said, why would you say that? Remember, we had already gone through one semester of college. Right up there. I said, why would you say that? She said, I don't know. It just seemed like something the right thing to say. Anyway, we've been friends ever since, and now she's the acting commissioner of DNR, and we have a great time together. And she hates it. She hates it when I tell that story. I tell it as often as I can.